Is there something in your life that you've given up praying for? A promise from God that has not come to pass, and so you've given up discouraged? Well, if that's you, I have a word of encouragement for you today. Welcome to day 4 of 31 days of Christmas wonder. And today I'm reading in Luke chapter 1, verses 11 through 17. Then an angel of the Lord appeared to him, standing at the right side of the altar of incense. When Zechariah saw him, he was startled and was gripped with fear. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah, your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you are to call him John. He will be a joy and delight to you, and many will rejoice because of his birth. For he will be great in the sight of the Lord. He is never to take wine or other fermented drink, and he will be filled with the Holy Spirit even before he is born. He will bring back many of the people of Israel to the Lord their God. And he will go on before the Lord in the spirit and power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the parents to their children and the disobedient to the wisdom of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord." That's incredible. Now, Zechariah and Elizabeth had no kids, and they were in their late 90s by this time. So there was a huge stigma with that in that culture. And I would imagine that they probably prayed their heads off for years, praying for a child, for a son, to no avail. And now here he is. He has been selected by Lot to go into the temple, to the holy place, and burn incense. Now, the incense was important in these rituals because the smoke represented the prayers of the people going up to God. Now, at that time, there were probably about 20,000 priests. So they would select who would go into the temple by lot. So this would have been a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him. What a huge honor. And here he is now in that holy place, burning the incense. And you can imagine that he was fervently, passionately praying for his nation, for the Jewish nation, because they were under Roman oppression. And he was most likely praying for the coming of the Messiah, right? The promised Messiah. He probably wasn't praying for himself. And he probably certainly wasn't praying for a son. They probably gave that up, as I said, many years before. So here he is. I imagine him with his eyes closed, fervently praying for his people. And he opens his eyes, and there is the angel of the Lord. And the first thing that Gabriel says is, "Do not be afraid," because he probably looked terrified. Imagine what that would have been like. Wow. And here he says, "Your prayer has been heard." Okay, so what is he thinking at that time? Like, what prayer? What prayer has been heard? And he says to him that he will have a son. And this is the amazing thing, is that he gave up on that prayer so long ago, and now in God's perfect appointed time, the prayer will come to pass. Not only that, but he will answer 2 prayers. Not only will he get a son, but God will use their son to herald the coming of the Messiah. And so I want to encourage you today that God, that's how he works. Not only will he answer his prayer, your prayer, in his perfect timing, but he also will give a double blessing. He will often do more than we can ask, think, or imagine for those who lean in, who are faithful, who don't give up, and they're praying to him. So I want to encourage you today, do not give up on whatever that thing is that God has promised you in his word, or he's made a promise to you through his Holy Spirit. Do not give up. God will do it in his perfect timing, and it will be more than you can ask, think, or imagine, according to his power at work in your life.